Shalom. I'm offering my reflections via this pre-recorded video because while you are all gathered for our annual meeting, I'm leading our congregational trip in Israel. This is the third congregational trip to Israel that I've led over the past 11 years that I've served Congregation B'nai Shalom, and this year it feels even more important that we be in Israel. When the internal politics of Israel and some of the decisions of its leadership trouble and concern us, that's not a time to draw back, but to engage more deeply and intentionally, to better understand what is happening and why, and to show up, to support our partners in the Israeli reform and progressive movements, to support the Israeli Religious Action Center and Hidur, organizations that stand up for and defend the civil and human rights of all people who live in Israel. In addition to what we've shared via the Temple's Facebook page, I look forward to us sharing more of what we've learned and experienced upon our return. But as I now turn to look back on the past year, I do note the irony of doing so virtually in a recorded message, because perhaps what has characterized this past year more than anything else, it has been all the ways that we have rebuilt our capacity to host and create engaging and energizing in-person gatherings of all kinds. From the summer social gatherings, as I brought back the rabbi's barbecue and our annual Shabbat in the park, to the sounds of our members singing together again in our High Holy Day choir, the shift began last summer. And I spoke of rebuilding our capacity because I want to acknowledge the partnership work of Steve Weiner, as we needed to put systems and schedules back in place so that the building could support intensified usage again. And I want to thank all of our congregants who said yes to joining the Oneg hosting team so that we could sustain our weekly social connection time at the Oneg after Shabbat services. And we would love for more of you to say yes, to help spread these manageable ways of making a difference more widely across the congregation. I also want to add to what others will share at the annual meeting, the incredible work of Kim Manning and Amy Rosenberg to prepare first the board and staff and later almost 40 congregants who together have built the foundations of our Belonging Initiative, which I first began to speak about at the High Holy Days. The many who have stepped forward to help with our Belonging Initiative are now ready to launch some of the first events of our new CBS connection groups and our ongoing social groups. Some of these groups are stage of life focused, others are formed around shared interests. The upcoming social events this month and into the summer are the building blocks of community connecting. Our vision of being a congregation that cares for each other, who directs our energies together in social action, who celebrates together, and who live Jewish culture and values together. That vision can only be realized when all of us invest not only our dollars for the sustaining of a temple, but we also invest our souls into being not simply members, but authentically connected community. Rebuilding capacity is something that we've all been doing in so many ways. While each of us has done this at our own pace, it takes psychological and physical capacity to extend the reach of our social connections again. It takes effort to get back out again, and it takes time, especially from members who are immunocompromised. Our ongoing commitment to high-quality streaming and some programs such as our weekly Torah study, primarily online, continues. I hope to keep those who need a little longer to be back in person connected with us. If the new CBS connection groups help us expand our genuine connection to more of our congregation, then other areas that I was especially focused on this past year were about the ways that we can go deeper in the Jewish experiences that we have together. For example, we deepened the music of Shabbat. In addition to our wonderful tefillah band that plays a few times a year, we introduced Reflective Shabbat, where our teams sang and played together, along with several of our musical members, in a meditative and musical experience that also made it easier for non-Hebrew readers to participate and all to experience entering Shabbat more deeply. We added additional services when our two cantorial soloists would lead together as another way of enriching the music. We also deepened our adult learning. I committed to designate more time in one-to-one learning this year, individual or ongoing support of individual learners, adults and youth, to help those who would then lead a learning session or give a Devar Torah, or who just needed a place to come and ask questions. I added a weekly meditation program during the 7 weeks from Passover to Shavuot, which we're still in the middle of, so you can still join us. We created a deeply impactful Erev Sukkot program to learn about reproductive health and the impact of the reversal of Roe versus Wade. I created a new opportunity for a social dinner and cultural program on a Friday night, with our first last December with Joseph Shoah, who grew up at CBS, teaching us about deep space exploration at our Scientists in Synagogue Shabbat. And then a second, just this past April, when several members of our congregation who have lived in Israel, along with our Israeli emissary, shared stories from across the decades. And these programs are especially focused on opportunities for us all to appreciate the incredible wealth of experience and talent within the membership of our community, getting to know each other in a different way. We've had our monthly spiritual journey group exploring Kabbalah together this year, and our regulars for weekly Torah study every Saturday morning now number over 25 individuals, and I really look forward to those weekly dialogues and the connections in that group. And then there were the members who undertook to engage in their own year-long study of anti-Semitism and responses to it, first leading a program for our teens in high school, and now upcoming on May 22nd, a program that will discuss anti-Semitism with the wider community, as our Kulanu team have created relationships with several local churches and community groups so that we can bring our non-Jewish neighbors into relationship with us in the fight against anti-Semitism. And of course, my personal project, the launch of my podcast, a dram and a darash, marrying together the love of Judaism that I have with my interest and enjoyment of whiskey. The monthly broadcast on YouTube and via your audio podcast source has gotten great feedback so far. So do check it out and subscribe to get reminders of when new episodes are released. It's been heartwarming to see so much activity back at Congregation B'nai Shalom, and so many new folk finding their way to our congregation, whether as new members or as guests. We continue to welcome new retirees into the community, as well as an increasing number of young adults. We are increasingly diverse, something of which we should be proud as a suburban congregation that's truly aiming to walk the walk on audacious hospitality. Jewish community exists so that everyone who identifies as part of a Jewish family or who wishes to contemplate becoming Jewish can find their Jewish home, and we hope find it with us. And while we continue to learn ways to do better, this is a moment where our faith community, offering a safe space for all Jews and their families, including Jews of color, all gender identities and sexual orientations, those who are neurodiverse as well as neurotypical, it is so important. Our people need our Jewish communities to be open and welcoming and genuinely inclusive, to continue to speak to the next generation whose presence will sustain and enrich our community. We must be listening to their voices and make space for their vision and guidance as well. And speaking of safe space, I'm proud that our board of directors adopted a code of ethics for the congregation, making us among the first of many URJ congregations who have made this commitment. Beyond what we already had in place pertaining to staff, this code provides the stated values by which we all aspire to engage with each other as members of a Kehila Kadosha, a holy community, and a way for us to responsibly address occasions when we might not live up to those aspirations. As always, I want to express my gratitude to Rabbi Idison and Steve Weiner for their ongoing partnership, to Judy Kalman, our temple president, who has been an exceptional partner in visioning and planning along with our board of directors, to our talented cantorial soloists, and to all of our staff. I feel blessed every day that you are the team that I get to play on. And my gratitude to all of our congregants, to you, all of you who have dedicated your time and your nishamot, your very essence, to helping ensure that Congregation B'nai Shalom emerges from the pandemic stronger and committed to sustaining our vision. It's an honor to partner with you in all of our work. Thank you.